Stand up, football fans. I did this in a podcast version last time. This time I figured I'd show you my face as I thought, since you guys know what I look like anyway. But, there's a new series I'm going to be doing either every day or every other day where I recap some of the big news from around the league. Not just with the Giants. Of course, I cover the Giants extensively. I do a ton of videos on the Giants, but I'm trying to broaden my channel and talk about things outside of the Giants organization. And over the last 2 days, there's been a couple of storylines that really interested me. I'm going to recap the Thursday Night Football game and how the Eagles impressed me. I hate saying that as a Giants fan, but you got to give credit where it's due. I'm going to also talk about the NFL owners, not just Kraft, who you see there, but all the NFL owners and this plan that they've come up with to, they're trying to expand the season, right? First they wanted 18 games. Now a report came out yesterday that they've lowered it to 17, but they still want that extra game, and they'll shorten the preseason by one game. I'll give my thoughts on that. But before we get on those two stories, we're going to start with what I think is the main story of the day, the Washington Redskins and their complete ineptitude as an organization. The Giants, of course, are playing the Redskins on Sunday, and should be a game in which I hope my New York Giants win. But what I'm going to talk about in this, they are a lost franchise, and it starts at the top with Snyder. He might be one of the worst owners in sports. A report came out today, and I'm going to show it to you guys, from Rich Eisen, the Rich Eisen Show. He spoke to Joel Klatt. The Redskins coaching staff never was on board with the selection of Dwayne Haskins. There was a rift between the front office, who wants him to play, and the coaching staff. And then a report came out a couple hours ago that Gruden's on the hot seat, and he's probably going to be fired after this game if they lose, which is when they would start Dwayne Haskins. I'm not sticking up for Gruden. He's not been a good head coach for the Redskins. Although, to be fair, you guys were 6-2 last year before you guys had a ton of injuries and Alex Smith went down. You guys had finally established an identity. And going back to the late 80s, the early 90s, the Redskins were, if not one of the best organizations in the sport. I mean, the Giants dominated. You had the Redskins. Those were the powerhouses back then, right? The Cowboys, mid 90s. But in recent times, since that span with Joe Gibbs, once you guys lost Joe Gibbs, you guys have been lost. And some of it's been bad luck, but the majority of it, you guys have been lost. You brought in veteran free agents that were past the hill like Deion Sanders, Bruce Smith. You go down the list. This team has made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and it starts at the top. And this is just as bad. Whether or not Dwayne Haskins works out or not. How can you make a selection in a draft, a first-round draft pick, your first pick of the draft at number 15 overall, not being completely on board as an organization, coaching staff, general manager, owner, when you draft a quarterback, a guy who's everybody's job is going to rely on that player. Everybody. Other than the owner, of course. Everybody needs to be on board with it. And if this is true, if these reports are true, I mean, this is just par for the course for the Redskins. I don't mean to sound mean. I got a lot of great Redskins subscribers, Chuck Sharps being one of them. But it's the truth. How are you not in sync on that decision? How? And you know what? This makes the Giants look a lot smarter. Reports came out after the draft that there were teams interested between 17 and 6 in Dwayne Haskins' services. And a lot of Giants fans, myself included, the day of the draft did not believe that. Because every expert told you James Jones is going to go late first round. But we heard reports about the Redskins wanting him. We heard reports about a couple other teams. I believe the Dolphins wanting him. And it's starting to make sense, because now you're hearing reports that the Redskins never wanted Dwayne Haskins, and of course the Redskins were in the market for a quarterback. So it's very possible that is why the Giants took him at 6, because they knew that the Redskins were all in on Daniel Jones, and when they didn't have Daniel Jones on the board, the owners stepped in. At least that's what this sounds like. Nothing is concrete, but the owners stepped in and forced them to take a quarterback, and that quarterback being Dwayne Haskins. Now, I like Dwayne Haskins. I've said that for a while. I think he's intelligent. I think he's got a strong arm. But I don't know if he's going to succeed for an organization as inept as the Washington Redskins. Like I said, some of it has to do with bad luck. RG3 goes down. You guys traded away everything to get that kid. He goes down, and everything tumbles after that. I get it. Alex Smith goes down. You guys were off to a good start last year. So you guys have certainly had some bad luck. But you guys are lost. You guys are one of the worst, if not the worst, run organizations in the NFL. It's just truth. Once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. You guys make the playoffs every 7 or 8 years or so. But you guys have not been a competitive football team consistently since the Gibbs days. And Snyder is the primary reason for that. And Redskins fans should be up in arms about this. How can you have a team who's not who they don't, not everybody's on the same page when you're drafting a quarterback in the first round? It's inexcusable. Unbelievable stuff coming out of the Redskins in the news today. I couldn't believe it. The next thing I'm going to touch on is the New York Giants and my most hated team, the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is a team that I've been calling overrated all year, and I got to eat my words when they prove me wrong. And they're still 2-2. I'm not going to fully jump on board the Eagles bandwagon and tell you they're a Super Bowl contender because I still don't think they are. But last night, the Philadelphia Eagles showed a ton of heart in that football game, and I got to give them credit where credit is due. They went out there on Thursday Night Football in Lambeau Field, a team that was 3-0, and the Eagles had every excuse in the book to lose that football game. They have injuries. They're banged up. Deshaun Jackson not playing the game. Alshon Jeffrey playing banged up. Goddard playing banged up. They're going into Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers lighting them up. And the Eagles find a way to win, and that game was not even as close as the final score. The offensive line dominated the line of scrimmage for the Eagles. The defensive line dominated the game for the Eagles, and the Eagles looked like a team primed to go on a potential run, and they're a team you want to look out for. So I got to give them their credit. As far as the Packers go, maybe they are a fake team. We're going to have to find out. Now, of course, they beat the Bears. They beat the Vikings. They beat the Broncos. Two of those teams are, thought to be at least playoff contenders in the Bears and the Vikings. And the Packers defense, up until last night, had looked very, very strong. But the Eagles had their way. It was smash-mouth football. They had Jordan Howard in the backfield. They took the snap. They handed it to Howard. There was a hole the size of the Grand Canyon, and he was getting 8 yards at a clip. They just completely manhandled that football team, and it really makes you question how legitimate that Packer defense really is. Maybe the Bears' offense is just that bad. They held the Bears to 3 points. But last night, it was embarrassing. It looked like a high school football team out there, the way that the Eagles were able to move the ball up and down the field. And maybe that's something to do with Thursday Night Football, which I want to touch on as well. Everybody knows that the injuries are up when you play Thursday Night Football. And I'm calling the game last night, and 2 players get carted off to the hospital, which is going to bring me to the owners, by the way. Everything's going to tie in. But 2 players get carted off to the hospital. Okay? And who knows if their lives will ever be the same. And I know football is a violent sport, but the injuries are much higher on Thursday Night Football than on Sunday. Because they have only 3 days to play in between games. Their bodies haven't fully recuperated. And this league is full of greedy owners. It's just the truth. Thursday Night Football is oversaturation. It just is. And congratulations to the Eagles yet again. We're going to jump into the owners now. And we've heard all these reports about the owners wanting to expand it to a 14-game schedule, to a 18-game schedule. They want to cut 2 preseason games out. And I get it. You want to cut the preseason games out. That's fine. Preseason games suck, okay? They just do. It's a glorified scrimmage, most of those games outside of week 3. So I get that aspect. But this is a league that's making all these rules. They're changing the helmets. They're changing the kickoff to the 35. They're calling more flags to reduce injuries. Right? That's what they're all about. They're not about money. Bullshit, they're not. This league, that's all they care about is the bottom dollar. And you know what, to be fair with you, if the owners didn't think that by the press coming out, obviously we saw the movie with Will Smith, the concussion all over the place, they had to do something because they knew it was going to affect their pockets. But now they're pushing for an 18, now reduced it to a 17-game schedule. The league is oversaturated as it is. Thursday Night Football is a joke. The product on Thursday Night Football is half of what it is on Sunday. Because like I said, you got 3 days to game plan. The players aren't fully recovered. And usually it's a bad football game. Last night was pretty good. But, the defense for the Packers was awful. That probably had something to do with it. The team, Thursday Night Football is way too much. And then you got Sunday, you got Monday. The last 2 weeks of the season, you got Saturday. There's way too much here. Opening week every day, you got 2 Sunday night games. It's too much. And you want to add another game to everybody's schedule. It's ridiculous. The injuries are going to go up. Obviously, it's just common sense. 1 extra game, that's more concussions. And if you really cared about the player's safety like you claim you do, you wouldn't be pushing for that so hard. All you care about at the end of the day, Kraft, Mara, all the owners, Rooney, all you care about is the money that's going into your pockets. And that's the truth. At least be honest about it. But that's my take on it. It just bugs me when I see these greedy owners, trying to expand the schedule. The NFL is way too oversaturated as is. I'd be completely fine just playing all the games on Sunday. It used to be special. You used to look forward to Sunday. Now you got a game on Thursday, Monday, Saturday. Soon it'll be Friday. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, it'll be every day of the week. It's too much at this point, and it's ruining the sport. But you know what? At the end of the day, if the owners are getting more money because of it, they're going to keep pushing for it. But as always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.